I'm back. Let me just set the volume. That's fine. So, as the new case that I just got was Half Moon Walk, and it involves me going to it involves me going to find the to solve the mystery behind the arrest of one of the street urchin kids that often help Holmes during his crime-solving adventures. Yeah. So yeah, let's just start it and check it out. One of the street urchins, called Wiggins, has helped me on previous occasions, so I'm hoping I can return the favor. Alright. So, as you can see, the task is to solve the crime at Half Moon Street. No, 1 second. Oh, that's fine. Okay, so the task is to solve the crime at Half Moon Street. Young Wiggins of the Irregulars, that's what the urchins call themselves, seeks Holmes's advice on a family affair. His elder brother Wheaton has been arrested by the police. He's accused in a double murder. Okay, so my first job is gonna be to investigate the crime scene and talk to witnesses at Half Moon Street. So let's go there and see what's what. Oh shit, let's see. Drunk guy. Oh, nope, that's the exit. Oh, so it's here. It's so dark. Can't see anything. These are the bodies.
Please, gentlemen, leave the scene now. Oh, Mr. Holmes, is that you?
Good evening, Constable...
Constable Marrow. I was here with Inspector Aberline during the Ripper case, Mr. Holmes, back in '88. But then this is nothing like that case. With this one, we've got the murderer, the weapon, and the statements, which speak for themselves.
Of course, Mara. But you know that appearances can sometimes be deceiving.
Right, so I have to interview this police officer. Just let me check the OBS one more time to see if everything's the way I like it. Alright. So that's fine. Okay, let's start.
Who were the victims?
The two men here, both shot. The stab fellow was Brian Vercotti, a well-known ruffian. The other, Kenneth Butler, a jeweller by trade.
Okay, were there any witnesses?
You spoke of statements. You have witnesses?
Well, I was there, so I gave my own statement. And then there were two other witnesses who said they saw the killer Chapman. Mr. Turner, a gentleman who lives in that flat over there. And Polly Powell, a flower seller, who was over at the far side of the street.
Alright, so let's hear the testimonies.
So, Constable Marrow, I should be delighted to hear your testimony.
I was standing at the north side of Half Moon Street. That was the side that you came from.
But you would have been unable to observe this part of the street, where we are standing now.
That is correct. But I saw the two victims slowly enter Half Moon Street, and then shortly after, the fireworks started. A few minutes after that, the fellow Chapman rushed towards me and ran into Half Moon Street.
Please continue.
I didn't pay attention, but suddenly I heard a woman's cries and police whistles on the other side of Half Moon Street. I rushed over there and I saw the two dead bodies on the ground. When I reached Whitechapel Street, I saw Leighton Chapman. He'd been caught by two police constables.
So you say you heard some gunshots?
Did you hear the shots?
I didn't hear any shots. The fireworks were all over the sky. They were so loud I couldn't hear anything else.
Fireworks.
What were the fireworks in honor of, Constable?
Well, today's Queen Victoria's birthday, Mr. Holmes.
Ah, yes, I appear to have lost track of the days. It is May now, of course.
So tell me about what happens in Half Moon Street.
Constable Marrow, what else caught your attention while you were running through Half Moon Street?
I saw nothing but rats, and I took the time to light every corner with my lamp.
Alright, so Mr. Turner had a good view from his window, I presume.
Did you happen to look up at Mr. Turner's window when you were on Half Moon Street at that time?
Yes, I saw that the window was open, but no one was there. It was dark in the room.
Constable, your statements have been of great value to me.
Yeah. Okay, so the plan is to investigate the bodies, and then I'm gonna talk to the witnesses. Hopefully, I'll get a little torch or a little lamp, so I can explore the dark areas of Half Moon Street. Oh,
A fairly long pole with a forked end.
so this is an object of interest. Okay, let's check out the bodies. This guy first. If I'm not mistaken, he said he was a well-known ruffian, and the other guy was a jeweler.
He tried to stop the bleeding with his hand. Death was not instant. The bullet penetrated his stomach, a dreadful wound.
Oh, a shot in the stomach, that's one of the most painful ways to die.
A tattoo from Westgate Prison. Vercotti must have done some time there. Brian Vercotti suffered greatly. What a terrible way to die.
Okay, what's this? Oh, it's just junk. Let's try this guy. This is the jewelry trader. So one question is, why was a jewelry trader being seen and collaborating with a well-known ruffian and a criminal? That is, if a jewelry trader can be considered a respectable human, a respectable citizen. It's stuck object. Piece of wood.
A piece of wood that has stuck between the cobblestones. Let us take a closer look. This shard of wood is quite new.
Oh, he's been shot in the head.
The bullet struck his head. This man didn't stand a chance.
Oh, it's
This is an ordinary key. I wonder what kind of door it opens.
I'm sure we're gonna find out what door it opens eventually. Okay, so those are the bodies. Now let's talk to the witnesses. I think this is Mr. Taylor. They said Turner. Alright. Yeah, alright.
Good evening, Mr. Turner.
I heard Constable Marrow reply to you as Mr. Holmes. Are you that detective gentleman? I've heard of you. And well, I know things about this evening.
Excellent. Might we hear your story?
So I'm gonna inspect him first, just to check out what kind of a man he is. It might help me. Nothing important here. Oh. Crimean War. So he's a poor war veteran. so let's hear what happened.
Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
I was already in bed when the fireworks started. A few moments after, I clearly heard 2 gunshots from outside.
Please continue.
I quickly got up and I grabbed the lamp from my nightstand and I rushed towards the window. I looked down and I saw 2 bodies. And there was a man with a gun who was standing nearby.
Where exactly?
Well, near this body.
Did he notice you?
I don't think so. He rushed towards Whitechapel Street without looking around.
Alright, so was there anyone else?
Mr. Turner, did you see anyone else in the street?
No, I saw no one but that man, the murderer, the fellow they caught.
Right, you said you heard 2 distinctive shots.
Were the 2 shots you heard consecutive?
Yes, there was a very short pause between them, and they sounded different somehow. It seemed to me that the second shot was louder than the first.
That is an interesting comment.
So what happened after the escape?
Mr. Turner, what were your actions after you stepped up to the window?
I was afraid that the man with the gun might return, so I stayed close to the window till I saw the policeman coming in the Half Moon from Whitechapel. Then I walked out to tell them everything I saw.
You have helped us a great deal, Mr. Turner.
Alright, so before doing any deductions, I'm gonna talk to the other witness, the flower seller. Miss Mary. I can't remember her name. Miss something or other. Okay, there she is. Oh, Polly. So I wonder how, if she was here and the murder took place there, how will she describe the events?
Mrs. Powell?
What do you want?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting the police with their investigation of the crime that took place this evening.
Well, I've already gave my testimony, but very well.
Right, so let's hear it.
Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
Yes. I was selling my flowers as usual, and then the fireworks began, in honour of Queen Victoria. I enjoyed those. But then, all of a sudden, a young lad ran out of Half Moon Street and stopped just by me. He had a gun in his hand. He was like a ghost, and all covered in blood. It was dark, but I could see him, because of the flashes from the fireworks.
And then?
I screamed as loud as I could. I knew that a policeman should be on duty in the vicinity. He had no time to escape. 2 constables got him. Then another constable came out from the very same street, and I heard him talking of a horrible murder.
Alright, so did you hear the gunshots?
Mrs. Powell, did you hear the gunshots?
I'm not sure. You know, what with the fireworks?
Alright, so was there anyone else on the crime scene?
Did you see anyone else leaving Half Moon Street prior to or at the time of the crime?
No, sir, I did not. Even with all the fireworks, I was very attentive, as I'm always on the lookout for customers.
My thanks to you, Mrs. Powell.
Alright. So, let's try to deduce something. So, Turner's view from a dark window, which might mean that he actually wasn't there. So, Mr. Turner stated that he remained at the window of his flat until the police arrived. However, this is in conflict with Merrow's statement, as the constable didn't see anyone at the window. Right, so this guy might be lying. I shall have to search his flat. The other... Oh, shit, sorry. So, the common statements... Well, there were... Nope. 2 victims... Oh, I guess that's it. Alright, so I'm supposed to research Mr. Turner's apartment. That's the only lead I have right now, I think. Oh, and other than that I can interrogate Leighton. Alright, let's go. Oh, it's Wiggins.
Mr. Holmes, did you see my brother at Scotland Yard? Is he alright?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Scotland Yard after I investigate this guy's apartment. So your statements are full of
Mr.
contradictions.
Turner, you have stated that you remained close by your window after the crime, is that correct?
Oh, yes, Mr. Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
Nope. Well, there's a contradiction
That
there.
is very interesting, Mr. Turner. Constable Marrow stated that he did not see anyone at the window when he was running through Half Moon Street.
Well, I think Constable Marrow and me, we might have been distracted by the whistles and shouts coming from Whitechapel. We could have missed each other somehow. You understand what I mean? It was a bit of a stressful moment, to tell you the truth, sir.
Allow me to form my own theories, Mr. Turner. Would you mind showing me the view that you had from your window?
Not at all, Mr. Holmes. Please, follow me.
Mr. Turner appears to live very modestly.
Indeed he does. So he's been reading the papers. There's some books here. There's a walking stick. Oh shit.
A perfect match. So, Mr. Turner broke his stick when it became stuck between the cobblestones. He did not mention that he was so near to the victims.
Now what is he trying to hide and why?
The books on this shelf are in a mess. It looks as though Mr. Turner was trying to find something in a hurry here a short while ago.
So he's a suspicious guy after all. Oh, that's the exit. And there he is. Let's examine the window.
So, that's the view Mr. Turner had when he opened the window.
He actually had a perfect view.
Brian Vercotti's contorted corpse. The dead body of Kenneth Butler. Mr. Turner had a perfect view of the crime scene. He saw the bodies clearly, and Leighton Chapman standing over them.
Alright, so let's check out the rest of his shitty apartment and talk to him afterwards.
Mr. Turner was roused from his bed by the sound of gunshots.
Alright, so I guess that's it. Oh. Nope.
This kitchen knife is quite sharp. There are pieces of shredded paper scattered over the table. This kitchen knife was used to cut the paper.
I have no idea what that's supposed to indicate, except maybe that he tried to destroy something. A piece of paper of some sort.
Anything else you would like to know, Mr. Holmes?
No, that's fine, I guess. There's nothing else of interest here, it seems. So I'm supposed to go... Oh, fireplace. Let's check this out.
This fire is dying out. It was last tended to over an hour ago.
Fire. Ashes. Burnt paper. Yeah, he was definitely trying to destroy a piece of paper for some reason.
The papers are almost entirely burned. I am unable to see what's written here. These words are illegible.
It's useless to
The
me, I
papers
guess.
were thrown into the fire just a short while ago.
Alright. So let's determine the correct sequence of events. think this is the first one. So he woke up. He placed the broken stick. He took something. He cut papers with a knife, I guess. Oh no. Alright, so he came here and started cutting papers with a knife. He must have noticed something outside the window. He threw something in the fire. Then he went out to approach the body. Or maybe I'm probably getting this wrong. Alright, so let's try to watch the sequence and see what I did wrong. So he did wake up first, yeah, that much is obvious, I guess. He limps over here, placed his cane there, took a piece of paper, I guess. And then he went here to cut the paper, I guess. That's when he heard gunshots. So he went over to the window he opened the window to see what was going on and decided to finish destroying whatever he was trying to destroy and go outside and check out what happened. So that's this could be correct, but it doesn't have to be correct. So let's just wait it out. Let's fast forward. Move it. Looks like he found something here.
No, it didn't happen this way.
Nope, that wasn't the right order of events. But I'm pretty sure he got up from bed. He opened the window. He then approached the body. Nope. Deactivate this. He approached the body. Took something. He then came back to cut it with a knife, threw it in the fire, and finally placed his broken stick here without noticing it was broken, I guess. So let's try to watch this sequence. I'm gonna fast forward.
No,
this.
it didn't happen this way.
Nope. So he got up from bed. He opened the window, approached the body, and took something. Threw something in the fire, cut papers with knife, and finally placed the broken stick. Maybe this is wrong also. It seems to me that he tried to destroy something he found outside. That might be...
No, it didn't happen this way.
No. Let me try talking to him again.
Anything else you would like to know, Mr. Holmes?
Let's see, this. Mr. Turner says that he was standing near the window of his flat the entire time. But according to the constable, his window was dark. He has a weak leg that makes him walk with a limp. Let's try this again. So, he got up from bed, that's for sure, and took his little stick. He then opened the window. Approached the body, took something, and broke the stick. Came here to place the broken stick. He then cut the papers with a knife for some reason. Finally, he threw something in the fire. Let's try it again. Awesome.
So Mr. Turner used a book to hide an object that he found on Kenneth Butler's body. The question is, what did he find?
Also, why did he do that? Books. Fat prints. Let's examine the book.
I can see prints from greasy fingers upon the cover of this book. Let us take a closer look. Well now, what a find! A precious jewel, concealed inside a book.
A ram's head.
A bracelet with a unique ram's head design. A distinctive feature of ancient Grecian artifacts, probably of the Hellenistic era.
No. An antique golden bracelet that was found in Mr. Turner's flat. It's decorated with distinctive ram heads. We'll just check out his profile here. He's around 60, a war veteran, very proud of it. Was most likely injured during this war. He lives a full life, right? So let's try to confront him about the item he took.
Mr. Turner, how would it be possible for a man of advanced years, such as yourself, to rush from his bed to the window in a matter of seconds, as you have stated?
Well, I'm able to move very quickly, despite my age. And when the situation requires it, Mr. Holmes.
It's kinda... Well, you do have a limp.
I highly doubt that, Mr. Turner. I observe that you suffer a severe limp due to your injured right leg. It would have taken at least 10 seconds for you to approach the window. That means you could have easily missed something or won in Half Moon Street during that time.
You're right, Mr. Holmes. I could have missed something. But it did seem to me that everything happened so quickly. Time can pull tricks on you.
Alright, so tell me the truth.
And what of everything else that you told us? Mr. Turner, it is vital that we have your complete and true statement.
Mr. Holmes, I do assure you that the other things I said were most sincere.
God, why is he lying?
Mr. Turner, you were not sincere with me. Not then, and not now.
But Mr. Holmes...
This, Mr. Turner, does not look like anything that a poor man might possess. It is worth more than the home that you live in.
I can explain.
No, merely correct me if I am wrong. You saw Leighton Chapman through the window, but you also noticed a glittering object on the ground, this precious jewel. You walked down and took the bracelet from the body of Kenneth Butler, and when you heard the whistles, you hurried away. That broke your walking stick. It caught fast between the cobbles. Constable Marrow was unable to see you in the window, as you were climbing up the stairs on your way back to your flat. Upon returning home, you hid the precious jewel inside a book.
Mr. Holmes, please don't send me to prison. I didn't do anything bad. I'm just a poor man. When I chanced upon the bracelet, I saw it as an opportunity to make a little money. I was desperate. I only took the bracelet, that's all, I swear.
You made a mistake by lying to me. But you are not a criminal. I believe that. Although I must return this bracelet to its rightful owner.
Alright. Well, I should inquire into the bracelet. I guess I'm supposed to go to Baker Street and peruse my archives. So I'm gonna go do that before going to interview young Leighton, the suspect. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Maybe simply because it might open new conversation options. Just understand why he mentioned that. I do understand everything. So yeah. Alright, let's peruse the archives. Newspapers. An antique golden bracelet, that's what I'm supposed to find. Something about here. Wellington burglary.
That is not the one I need.
Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's... Well, maybe I'm... Chemistry, poisons, wounds and injuries, criminal marks and symbols. No. Guess I have to check the encyclopedias. Arts and architecture. Institutes. Economic science, I don't think so. Technology. History. Medicine, no. Sorry? No. Guess I can't. I really... Oh, awesome. So that was just pure luck, I guess. These beautiful antique jewels represent a part of the Hellenistic treasures collection. So there were 3 in total, and I found 1. So 5 heads of mountain rams upon a bracelet, necklace, and ring, each made of pure gold. Okay, they have been missing from the museum since 1885.
Here it is.
So it's a stolen bracelet.
I need to continue my research in my archives.
Alright, so I'm gonna find the newspaper article in 1885, I guess. Hellenistic treasures stolen. The Hellenistic treasures were stolen yesterday evening while being transported by cab on their way from, no, doesn't matter, pawn shop owner Kenneth Butler, the guy who was dead. The police have since captured the described man, a professional thief by the name of Vincent Foley. Okay. Vincent Foley refused to confess as to where the remainder of the treasures were hidden. He was eventually imprisoned. The lost treasures are still to be found. So he was recognized by the surviving driver of the
Here it is. One of the victims, Kenneth Butler, was involved in the story of the stolen Hellenistic treasures. A visit to his pawn shop should tell me more.
Alright, awesome. But before going to the pawn shop, this key will help me there, for sure. Before going to the pawn shop, I'm gonna go to Scotland Yard and interview the suspect, young Leighton, Wiggins's brother.
Mr. Holmes, whatever brings you here so late at night?
I'm interested in the case of young Leighton Chapman. He was arrested earlier this evening and accused of a double murder.
I beg your pardon? That case is quite clear to the police. Or are there any new facts that we don't know about?
Who knows, Inspector?
Look, you are free to investigate, of course, Mr. Holmes. Chapman was arrested with a revolver in his possession, which you can find in the evidence room. The suspect himself is in custody.
Did you find anything else on his person?
A few personal belongings. Nothing particular, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Lestrade.
Okay. So, well, shapes of noses. Okay, so let's go check out his belongings. He's in jail here, but first I want to go to the evidence room.
So this is the gun that Leighton was holding when he was caught by the police. It is a Webley revolver, a reliable weapon. It seems as though the shells were not removed from the cylinder. Two out of the 6 shells have been fired. There were 2 shots. A cheap watch, bought with his own money, no doubt.
An apple and
These cigarettes are filled with cheap tobacco. Nothing interesting.
Okay. So, for now, the evidence shows that he might have done it. So, 2 victims and Leighton's revolver. There was Kenneth Butler were the victims. Yeah, that's true. It was a double murder. 2 victims, different shots. Okay, let's try this. So, different shots. Leighton's revolver, yeah. Right, so Turner could hear the contrast between 2 fired shots, as in fact 3 shots were made. At first a single shot was fired and then 2 guns fired simultaneously directly afterwards. Turner could hear the contrast. I'm gonna go with this too, so I'll have to reenact the crossfire at this little alley, but yeah, it seems like something more legit. Long glow stars. Alright, let's go talk to Leighton.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Good evening, Mr. Chapman.
Who are you? I've got nothing to say. It's all a mistake.
Calm down, Leighton. I have come here to help you. To find out if you truly are innocent, as your younger brother Wiggins has told me.
My brother? You know him? Then that means you're...
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, blimey. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell you everything.
So, I'm gonna inspect him first. Seems like he's had a rough life. A little tattoo. So he did commit a crime. He has the same tattoo as that guy, the victim, Verzetti or whatever his name is. He said, tell me what
Good.
happened.
Tell me your account of what happened.
I left my work and I hurried up to see the fireworks in Whitechapel. I was late, so I decided to cut through Half Moon Street. I saw the first fireworks light up in the sky. I bumped into a constable on a corner before entering Half Moon. Then suddenly, what with all the firework flare, I saw 2 men. They were both lying flat in the middle of the street. I stopped where I was. I thought about turning back to the police, but as I was thinking of that, I saw a third person. He was leaning over the body that was furthest from me. The second I saw him, he raised his head and he stared at me. In a flash, I saw his gun. But he made a dash for it instead and he escaped through Whitechapel Street.
So you might still have had time to return to the constable.
I panicked. I didn't know what to do. Anyway, I approached the bodies just to see if they were still alive. I saw that one had blood pumping out of his stomach. He was dying. It was horrible. The second one was already dead. He had a hole in his head. He was holding a gun in his hand though. I took it. And then I followed the third man.
God, continue, please.
Interesting. Pray, continue.
I turned a corner and I saw the man standing in the middle of the street. He seemed to be in some sort of panic. And then, Mr. Holmes, something strange happened. I told the police and they laughed at what I said, but I swear to you, my words are true. I started running towards him. But then I was blinded by a flash. It was so bright that I hardly saw anything for a good dozen seconds. But I kept running forward. As I arrived in Whitechapel, I heard a woman screaming. And then I was caught by the police. But there wasn't a trace of that man. Of course, then they found a gun and all that blood. I couldn't see the murderer escaping and all that mess. Perhaps I was still half-blinded at that moment.
A thrilling account, my young man.
Yeah, so who was the third man?
Leighton, are you able to describe the person whom you saw standing in Half Moon Street?
Well, I wasn't able to see his face at all. It was too dark, and he was too far away. I could see his silhouette.
And what about that?
Nothing so special. He was wearing a jacket. He was quite average in size and his weight.
I see. Was there anything else that struck you at the time?
No. But perhaps it's strange, but I can't remember the sound of his footsteps as he was running away. Perhaps it was because of the fireworks or the surprise of me seeing him.
So why did you decide to grab the gun and follow him?
Leighton, I confess I am puzzled. Why should a young lad like you take a gun from the hands of a dead man and set off in pursuit of a probable killer?
I know. I keep wondering that, but at the time it was like a reflex. A criminal ought to be arrested, and he was armed.
You were willing to risk your life. That was a little foolish, unless you wanted revenge.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
Okay, so... I think you knew one of the victims.
I'm sure that you were, but I believe that you may have recognized one of the victims, Brian Vercotti. You knew that gentleman well, did you not?
However could you know that?
You have a typical tattoo of the Westgate Brotherhood upon your hand. I observed exactly the same mark upon Mr. Vercotti. You came to know him from your sharing a past prison sentence. Am I correct, Mr. Chapman?
God. You're right, Mr. Holmes.
Alright, so tell me about your friend.
Would you tell me a little about Brian Vercotti?
We were convicted for a robbery. Once in prison, both of us joined one of these fraternities. During that year, we tried to help each other out, you know?
You were quite young then, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Holmes, we were. We'd only stolen a pound of meat. After we were released, and when I saw what my little brother had become, I decided to work towards living an honest life.
And Vercotti?
He had a hard time. His sister had died in a Whitechapel dispensary while he was in prison. He had no family anymore. Our paths split. He fell back into crime.
So you lost him?
Yes. And for around 2 years, I heard no news of him at all.
We shall see you soon, young man.
Alright. So, yeah, I believe him. I think he's telling the truth. He seems like a decent guy. Okay, so let's see. What do we have here? Oh, right. Examine the dead bodies and perform a reenactment. Investigate the ancient bracelets. I have 2 leads to follow up on. I think I'm gonna examine the dead bodies first. They're here. Oh, no. Yeah, they're here. I guess they aren't here yet. They're gonna be here soon. They're still in the street. Alright, so I'm gonna...
Mr. Holmes!
Alright, so I'm gonna go and try to reenact the shooting. If it's possible at this point. I'm not completely certain. It might be impossible yet, but for now. If that doesn't work, then I'll go to the pawn shop and interview the people there. So let's re-examine the bodies here. Oh, there it is.
What's up with you, lad? What are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for my brother to be released.
Your brother?
The one that you caught, beat up and imprisoned.
Ah, the murderer.
He ain't killed no one, copper.
Watch your mouth, lad, else you'll be joining that worthless brother of yours.
Well, that was uncalled for. Right, so let's see. One of the victims possibly fired his gun twice. Find out who it might be. How? Okay, let's try. Okay. Oh, so I think it was this guy, because he hit him in the head, and this guy was shot straight in the head, and this guy was shot in the stomach. God, I guess I have to examine these walls. Yeah. Let me just try this again. I want to see where. So his shot ended up here somewhere.
I am unable to see any higher. I need to find something to lift my lamp.
Oh, I have the exactly what you need. There we go. It's a useful pole.
This should be useful.
Right, so let's examine if there's
Nothing interesting here.
okay, so it was the other guy. And I'm still gonna... Oh, sorry. I'm still gonna examine the exact place he shot his gun. There should be a gun, a hole in the wall. Oh, there it is. Bullet impact.
This is most definitely a bullet hole. The brick cracks are fresh. Watson, there was a third shot fired in this street.
Alright. So let's see, what do we have now? So we have a third shot and 2 victims. So, a crossfire. Kenneth Butler and Brian Vercotti both died of crossfire, with each of them holding a gun. One of the guns is now missing. Kenneth Butler and Brian Vercotti were the victims of a double murder carried out by one person. No, I think they shot each other. It seems more likely than the other thing. Okay, so let's see. The witness testimonies and the crime clearly point to one possible culprit, Leighton Chapman. Alright, so let's say that's compelling evidence, even though it's... As in real police work, the witness statements can sometimes be really unreliable. So, the violent crime committed in Half Moon Street by Leighton Chapman could have had a personal motive. I don't think he's the murderer, but I'm just gonna go with the flow for now. So Leighton Chapman's statement regarding the jacketed man who disappeared at Half Moon Street now seems reasonable, as the 3 shots at the crime scene prove the presence of a second gun that is now missing. Alright. So reenact Marrow's pursuit with a lamp. It's a new task I have to do. Alright, I think. Oh, one more. Let's try this one. The person whom Leighton Chapman describes in his statements is a figment of his own imagination. Yeah, I don't think that's true. Alright, so that's it. Now, while I'm here, I should probably just see this. Okay, so talk to Constable Marrow and find out if it would have been possible to miss someone hiding in the shadows. Alright, so let's talk to him and get to the bottom of this area, and then I'll move on to the pawn shop.
Constable Marrow, I would value your assistance in this investigation.
It would be my pleasure, Mr. Holmes.
I would like to make sure that there are no places in Half Moon Street where a man could hide while you were running through it with your lamp.
All right, Mr. Holmes, what should I do?
Take your lamp and start walking, just as you did before, and try to find me.
Understood.
Alright. So I need to find a hiding
I
place.
shouldn't look for Mr. Holmes here. He's hiding in Half Moon Street.
Oh, I'm the police officer, I guess. Yep, here I am. God, I can't see a thing. Oh, there he is.
I can see you very well, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Oh,
Here you are, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
I actually hope I don't find him now, because that would mean that there was a reason to believe that there was a third man here somewhere. But I'm gonna do my best to find him anyway. Right, let's check this other part of the street. Oh, there he is. Oh, sorry.
Mr. Holmes, it wasn't difficult to find you at all.
It is obvious now. No one could escape Constable Marrow's lamp while hiding in the street.
So, this corner's in sight. The statements are kinda... If we can assume that there was one more person in Half Moon Street at the time of the crime, then there was no way forward or back for his escape, only up. Alright, let's try this now. We're gonna search this street up and down. Find the flare gun and climbing equipment.
It would be my pleasure to...
Alright, I'm gonna find the flare gun and climbing equipment. Where the hell am I gonna find that? Nope, 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 nope. Nope, sorry. Find the flare gun to emulate the fireworks and tools for climbing the wall. So I'm gonna have a short look in this street, although I doubt I find anything here. And it's Wiggins.
I'll do anything to save my brother.
Alright, Wiggins. So I'll just have a short look here, but if I don't find anything, I'm gonna go to the pawn shop. Because maybe I could grab those items at the pawn shop. They sound like something that a pawn shop would have. Completely random items though.
This mirror is turned towards Half Moon Street.
Guess I missed this before.
I suppose that I shall have.
This is the other witness.
Locked.
Let's try around here. Nope. Maybe on the other side, although I doubt it seriously. Yeah, there's nothing here. So I am gonna go to the pawn shop now. I don't think I can do this experiment yet. So I'm gonna interview whoever's at the pawn shop, and I found a key that I think opens something there. Kinda like to finish a zone before moving on, but I guess there's no choice. Or maybe, of course, I missed something. It wouldn't surprise me. So is this the place? Nope, that's just somebody's house. Ballard's Point. Butler's pawn shop. Oh, there it is.
The door is locked, but I won't try to pick it. There are people directly behind me.
Yeah, luckily I have the key.
Mr. Butler's key matches the lock perfectly.
Alright.
These tools are exactly what I need to climb the wall.
Awesome. It's just as I thought, like random equipment like that can easily be found in a pawn shop. So I need a flare gun.
This is exactly what
There
we
it is.
need in order to imitate the flash of the fireworks.
Alright, so I guess I'm gonna check out his little pawn shop a little bit more. Oh, sorry. Could this be the missing necklace? It looks like.
The ram's heads. This necklace belongs to the 5 rams of Mittelin collection. Interesting. That means that Kenneth Butler owned a part of this collection all this time, 10 years after the theft.
That's really weird. Hello, Kenneth. I remember you once told me about 3 pieces of golden jewelry with ram heads from ancient Greece. I found a man loaded with money who's crazy about those jewels. He's ready to fork out a small fortune. Oh, so that was his dealing with Brian Vercotti. He was the middleman. He was the middleman in all this. Alright. Let's see what's here.
It looks as though Mr. Butler kept a careful record of his operations.
Yeah, I guess that's it for this shop. Unless I'm missing something. It's got a lot of junk here. And none of it is important. Okay, so what I want to do now is go back to Half Moon Street. Yeah, go back to Half Moon Street and then perform the experiment. talk to Officer Marrow.
Why are you looking at me all the time like that?
I'm just watching you, lad. I never know what to expect from people like you.
People like me?
Yes, street beggars and thieves.
I ain't a thief.
Oh no? Then where did you get whatever it is that you're gnawing on? I very much doubt that you bought it.
What ain't seen can't hardly be stolen.
Constable Marrow, Watson, I would like to perform another kind of reenactment with your help.
I'm listening, Mr. Holmes.
I want to check if Leighton's testimony can be trusted. If someone could vanish into thin air at a specific moment.
But Holmes, I don't see how.
I am going to be the mysterious gentleman whom Leighton followed. I will stand exactly where he saw him before he was blinded by the flash. Watson, you will be Leighton. When I fire the signal flare, you should start to chase me.
I understand, Holmes.
You, Constable Marrow, just play your part and do exactly as you did. Just, please, wait 5 seconds after the signal flare. I doubt that Polly Powell would have screamed any earlier.
As you say, Mr. Holmes.
Let us begin then. Catch me if you can.
Alright. Find a spot where a man might be able to climb the wall and remain unnoticed. Well, I'm gonna try this one.
The moon illuminates this wall. Anyone trying to climb it would be easily spotted by Constable Marrow.
Okay, so I guess it isn't this one either. Could be this one.
This wall is cast in shadow. It would be difficult to see anyone scaling it.
Okay, it's a little quick time event.
I can barely see anything. Holmes? Are you there?
I should try climbing faster.
Oh god, I was too slow. I'm really not a fan of quick time events. They should have just let me climb at my own pace or something. But I am gonna be faster this time.
I can barely see anything. Holmes? Are you there? Where is he? My God, a man can't just disappear like that.
Awesome, that's it.
Holmes? Holmes? Where are you?
I cannot see you, Mr. Holmes. Dr. Watson, it seems that Mr. Holmes has disappeared.
Don't worry, gentlemen, I am up here, above your heads.
How on earth did you get up there, Holmes?
I am using crampons and a climbing axe, although the person we are looking for did not leave any traces of such tools. Constable, is there any way to get to the top of this building?
Yes, Mr. Holmes, I can show you. The door to the building can be found from Whitechapel Street.
Gentlemen, I am on my way down.
Alright, so I guess this is the way to the roof of the building. Inspect the attic. Okay. Oh, broken window.
A cluster of thick black threads. They're unusually strong. I should examine them under the microscope. It's empty. Someone broke through the window to get inside the attic, but in his haste he ripped his jacket.
Alright, so whoever it was, he was the guy.